All right, a lot of people know about alarm guns. A lot of people don't know anything about them. Well, I'll demonstrate. I'll demonstrate. Right, there we are. You press it into the ground to about the level of that, and you should insert a 12-bore cartridge, but one with no shots in it. And you put the cartridge in there, and you put the top on, and you'll see in there there's a little striker there, which is spring-loaded. And when you put it on there, it's been not used for a little while, and it's not popped back out. But when you set it, that little bit will be protruding there. And okay, you get a piece of cotton, and you put it through here, through this loop at the top, and you run it to wherever you want to. And all right, when you've put your cartridge in there, being careful, of course, not to put your foot underneath here during that, preparation. And then you put your cord in there, like I say, and you do that, and down comes the weight. That little striker there, of course, goes down in and, well, yes, fires the cartridge. That's one model. That's one model. Now here's something quite different. Now this one, right, I remember when I was gamekeeping, we used to have it in the middle of the estate. We used to have a high hill, and from there you could see almost, well, half the estate, shall we say. And right, when we were out watching at nights, we had a fair view of almost half the estates. Well, right, in this one, we used to put a Veery cartridge, which fired uphill, as you can see. Right, and there at the bottom, there's the striker there. Yes, it's seized up because it hasn't been used for, I suppose, 40 years or more than that. This bit at the top here, if it wasn't seized, you lift that lever up and pull this here bottom piece out and insert the cartridge and put this back over it. And this here should be free, moving easily, of course. Slightly spring-loaded, this bit is. And when you're all ready for go sort of thing, you put the Veery cartridge in here. And right, it's primed for going, as you might say. You put your string in here, and there should be another little hole here. Ah, that's it. The string comes through that little hole there and onto there. And when it's walked into, when the cord is walked into and tightened, you see what happens is that. Well, then you can imagine what happens. And the idea of this firing uphill one with a Veery cartridge, if you're on a lookout post somewhere and see a deal of the estate, and the flares go up, the rocket goes up, you can see exactly where the poacher is. And, well, yes, they used to be used a fair bit at one time, but now they are, of course, they're antiques. At one time up in Solrot Wold, the farm there is about 300 yards away from the end of the runway, and there was a big hay barn there in which we used to store hay. And one morning I went there to the barn, and I noticed, of course, something like half an armful of hay laying outside the door, and I'm sure that wasn't there at night. And well, I couldn't make that out. And so it was time, there were spies and that, and parachutists talked of. And that would have been a very good place for a spy to have got into wireless to Germany or something like in the night, this here hay barn. So I thought, well, I can't stay here all night waiting to see who comes, but I'll see if I can frighten them away. So I got this alarm gun, and I installed it in the shed side of this here hay barn, and ran the cotton through the side of the doorpost in the wall into across this hay barn doorway. And yes, I set it at night, and when I went in the morning, yes, oh yes, it had been fired right enough, but the distressing part of the whole thing was that the gun had also gone. And well, whew. But anyway, that barn in which I'd installed the gun in, which is of course separate from the hay barn, had a door locked only to it, between the two, what do you call it? Between the two sheds, there was a locked door there where I kept spare tractor bits and that in. And there were only two people, two land girls and myself, anywhere, who knew where the key to the door was. Not even the boss didn't know, because he didn't interest himself in the machinery. He used to look after the stock and I looked after the arable side. And this gun was gone. So it was very, very obvious that someone had taken it who knew where the key was, hidden under a brick under some hay, and well, yes, it was gone. So in the morning, having discovered it was gone, I had to talk to these land girls about this here missing gun, and what I said to them was, I suspected them of going over there. I said, don't increase your damnation, I said, by saying that you weren't over there and you didn't have that gun, because there's nobody but you that knew where I kept the key. I said, so anyway, I said, you can think about this if you like. I said, if that gun doesn't come back within 48 hours, I shall ask Colonel Thompson to place all of our farmland out of bounds to American personnel, except in the execution of their duty. And I said, on top of that, we shall reconsider your employment, as you're a danger to the, what I call, of the security of the place. I said, well, I said, you know, I said, the ball's in your court, you can do just what you like. Anyway, yes, they didn't say a darn thing. They didn't say a darn thing. The gun didn't come back that night, but the following night I was sitting in the boss's kitchen, and there was a knock came at the door, and I went and answered the door. I said, I'm saying I answered the door, and this gun was stuffed in my stomach when I opened the door. Yes, yes, they'd taken fright at the ultimatum, shall we say. And that's the end of the alarm guns.